The late evening hues of orange and pink gradually fade into the dark velvet of night as I settle into my usual spot on the couch. The glow of the computer screen bathes the living room in a cold, blue light, casting shadows on the walls that mimic the restlessness of my thoughts. I sigh, glancing at the empty side of the couch where my wife, Julia, used to sit with me, once upon a happier time. These days, Julia and I are more like distant roommates than a married couple. She works long hours at her corporate job, often coming home late, drained of energy and interest in anything, especially intimacy. Our conversations have dwindled to discussions about bills, chores, and polite exchanges of how our days went. The spark that once brightened our lives has dimmed to a flicker, and the void has grown ever wider. Filling this void is my secret escape, adult streaming. It's not something I'm proud of, but it's a balm for my wounded pride and unmet desires. Among the many streamers I follow, one stands out, the enigmatic Harlequino. No one knows her true identity. She wears a split mask, half smiling, half crying, which adds to her allure and mystique. Her streams vary, sometimes solo, sometimes with partners, sometimes even more. Each performance is an artful display of passion and emotion, making her my ultimate favorite. Tonight, as usual, I anticipate her next stream. I log in and navigate to her channel, the excitement building within me like a drumbeat. The chat is already buzzing with fans eagerly waiting for Harlequino to appear. I scan the usernames, recognizing some of the regulars, but no one I've ever spoken to in real life. This world is my secret, my refuge. The clock ticks past the scheduled start time. I frown, refreshing the page, but there's no sign of her. The chat reflects my concern. People are starting to wonder if something's wrong. Harlequino is never late. An hour passes, and just as the disappointment begins to settle in, her channel lights up. The chat explodes with excitement. I lean forward, eyes glued to the screen as her familiar masked face fills the frame. There's something different tonight, though. Her usual confident demeanor seems slightly off, and she's cradling her arm. I squint, trying to make out the details. Is that a burn? A chill runs down my spine. Earlier today, Julia had burned her hand with the iron, leaving blisters that I had helped treat before she left for work. Could it be just a coincidence? Harlequino begins her stream, her voice as sultry and enticing as ever, but my mind races. I can't shake the eerie feeling that something's wrong. Her every move, her every word, seems tainted with an underlying pain. The chat is oblivious, showering her with compliments and requests, but I can't tear my eyes away from that burn. My thoughts drift back to Julia. She's been so distant, so uninterested in everything, including me. Could she really be living a double life as Harlequino? The more I think about it, the more it makes a twisted kind of sense. The late nights, the exhaustion, the disinterest in our marriage, they all fit. But if it's true, it means she's been lying to me, betraying me in the worst possible way. I can't let it go. I have to know for sure. The stream continues, but my enjoyment is tainted by a growing sense of dread. When Harlequino finally signs off, I'm left staring at the blank screen, my mind a whirl of confusion and anger. The mask, the burn, the secrecy, it all points to one horrifying conclusion. As I lie in bed that night, pretending to be asleep when Julia finally comes home, I vow to uncover the truth. The woman lying next to me, who once promised to love and cherish me, might be the same one behind the mask, sharing her body with strangers while shutting me out. And if she is Harlequino, I'll make sure everyone knows who's behind that mask. I'll ruin her perfect facade and make her feel the betrayal I'm feeling now. This is only the beginning. The truth will come out, and when it does, nothing will ever be the same again. The morning sun pierces through the curtains, casting a harsh light on the remnants of our broken dreams. I wake up with a sense of purpose, though it's tinged with the bitterness of betrayal. Julia is already up, bustling around the kitchen. The smell of coffee fills the air, but it does nothing to soothe the ache in my chest. Morning, I mumble, entering the kitchen. Julia looks up, her eyes weary, but managing a smile. Good morning. I made coffee. Your favorite, she says, holding up a steaming mug. Her hand is bandaged from the burn, a stark reminder of my discovery last night. Thanks, I reply, taking the mug from her. How's your hand? She glances at the bandage, her smile fading slightly. It's better, thanks to you. It's more careful next time. I nod, the bitterness bubbling just beneath the surface. Yeah, wouldn't want anything to happen to you. The words come out sharper than I intend, and Julia looks at me, puzzled. I'm sorry about last night, she says softly. I was just so tired. Work has been really stressful. I force a smile. It's okay. Just take care of yourself. She nods, sipping her coffee. The silence between us is heavy, laden with unsaid words and unasked questions. I watch her carefully, looking for any signs, any hints that she might be hiding something. But she's the same Julia I've known for years, kind, gentle, and distant. I have to go to work, she says, breaking the silence. I'm running late. I step closer, pretending to examine her hand. Let me see it again. She hesitates but holds out her arm. The burn is still fresh, raw against her pale skin. It matches the one I saw on Harlequino last night perfectly. Be careful, I say, my voice softening. Don't overwork yourself. She nods, giving me a quick kiss on the cheek. I'll try. See you tonight. I watch her leave, the door closing behind her with a finality that echoes in the empty apartment. As soon as she's gone, I grab my laptop and head to the living room. Harlequino's stream was supposed to start half an hour ago, and she's never late. Not until last night. I log in, my heart pounding with anticipation. The chat is already buzzing, fans wondering why she's late again. I sit back, waiting, my mind racing with possibilities. If Julia really is Harlequino, then I need proof. Something concrete that will unmask her and expose her betrayal. An hour passes before the stream finally starts. Harlequino appears on screen, her split mask in place, but there's a tension in her movements, a hesitation that wasn't there before. She's wearing a long-sleeved costume, hiding her arms. But I know the truth. The burn is there, hidden beneath the fabric. I type a message in the chat, my fingers trembling. What happened to your arm, Harlequino? She pauses, reading the message. For a moment, I think she's going to ignore it, but then she responds, her voice steady but laced with pain. Just an accident. Nothing serious. The chat explodes with concern and sympathy, but I can't shake the feeling that she's lying. I watch her closely, every move, every word, searching for clues. Then, a new message pops up in the chat, catching my eye. It's from a user named ShadowFox, someone I've seen before but never interacted with. Maybe you should take a break, Harlequino. You don't look well. Harlequino laughs softly, the sound strained. I appreciate the concern, but I'm fine. Really? ShadowFox's message lingers in my mind. Who is this person? Another fan, or someone who knows more than they're letting on. I decide to reach out, sending a private message. Hey, ShadowFox. Do you know Harlequino personally? It takes a few minutes, but eventually, a reply comes. Not really. Just a longtime fan. Why do you ask? I hesitate, unsure how much to reveal. I think I know her. In real life. But I need proof. There's a long pause before ShadowFox replies. That's a dangerous game you're playing. Are you sure you want to go down that road? Yes, I type back, my resolve firm. I need to know the truth. ShadowFox responds quickly this time. All right. Meet me tonight at the Velvet Room. 8 p.m. We'll talk more then. I stare at the message, my heart racing. The Velvet Room is a local bar, known for its discreet corners and private booths. If ShadowFox has information, it could be the key to unmasking Julia. The rest of the day drags by in a haze of anxiety and anticipation. When Julia comes home, I'm already dressed, ready to leave. She raises an eyebrow, surprised. Going somewhere? Just out with some friends, I say casually. I'll be back later. She nods, but there's a flicker of suspicion in her eyes. Okay. Have fun. I hurry out the door, my mind racing. The velvet room is dimly lit and crowded when I arrive. I scan the room, looking for anyone who might be Shadow Fox. A figure in the corner catches my eye, a woman in a leather jacket, her hair pulled back in a tight ponytail. She meets my gaze and nods slightly. I make my way over, my heart pounding. Shadow Fox? She smiles, a hint of amusement in her eyes. You can call me Kara. Sit down. I slide into the booth, my hand shaking. Do you really know who Harlequino is? Kara leans back, studying me. I have my suspicions. But why do you care so much? I take a deep breath, the words tumbling out in a rush. I think she's my wife. And I need to know the truth. Kara's expression softens slightly. That's a heavy accusation. Are you sure you're ready for what you might find? I nod, the weight of my decision settling over me. I have to know. Please, help me. She sighs, reaching into her jacket and pulling out a small envelope. This might help. It's not definitive, but it's a start. Be careful. I take the envelope, my hands trembling. Thank you. Kara nods, standing up. Good luck. You're going to need it. I watch her leave, the envelope clutched tightly in my hand. My mind is a whirlwind of emotions, fear, anger, determination. I don't know what's inside, but it's a step closer to the truth. When I finally open it, the contents leave me breathless. Photographs, taken from different angles, showing Harlequino's burn. And then, a close-up of her unmasked face, just enough to reveal a familiar eye color and a distinctive mole. My heart sinks. It's Julia. The truth is out, and there's no turning back. The weight of the truth bears down on me as I stand in the dimly lit alley outside the velvet room, clutching the envelope that confirms my worst fears. Julia, my wife, is Harlequino. My mind is a storm of emotions, betrayal, anger, confusion. I feel the urge to confront her immediately, but I know I need to approach this carefully. I head home, the city lights blurring as I navigate through the traffic. My thoughts race, trying to piece together the next steps. How do I confront her? What will I say? The woman I thought I knew has been living a double life, and the revelation shatters the fragile remnants of our marriage. When I arrive home, the apartment is quiet. Julia is in the living room, watching TV. She looks up as I enter, her face lighting up with a smile that now seems like a mask of its own. Hey, how was your night? She asks, her voice cheerful. Fine, I reply, trying to keep my tone steady. Just met up with some friends. She nods, turning back to the TV. I sit down beside her, the envelope burning a hole in my pocket. The show she's watching is a mindless sitcom, the laughter from the screen a stark contrast to the turmoil inside me. Julia, I say, my voice trembling slightly. We need to talk. She turns to me, her expression curious, but cautious. What's wrong? I take a deep breath, pulling the envelope from my pocket and holding it out to her. I found something today. Something about you. Her eyes widen as she takes the envelope, her hands shaking. She opens it slowly, her face paling as she sees the photographs. The room feels like it's closing in on us, the air thick with tension. Where did you get these? She whispers, her voice barely audible. It doesn't matter, I say, my anger rising. What matters is the truth. You're Harlequino, aren't you? She looks up at me, tears welling in her eyes. I can explain, please. It's not what you think. Then explain, I demand, my voice harsh. Explain why you've been lying to me, why you've been living this double life. She takes a deep breath, wiping away a tear. I started streaming a few years ago, before things got bad between us. It was a way to escape, to feel desired and in control. I never meant for it to go this far. And the burn? I ask, pointing to her bandaged hand. The same burn I saw on Harlequino last night? She nods, her shoulders slumping. I was careless. I didn't think you'd notice. I feel a surge of anger. How could you do this, Julia? How could you betray me like this? She looks at me, her eyes filled with guilt and regret. I know I hurt you, and I'm so sorry. But you have to understand, I was desperate. Our marriage was falling apart, and I needed something to hold on to. And what about us? I ask, my voice breaking. What about the vows we made? She reaches out, her hand trembling. I still love you, and I want to make this right. Please, just give me a chance. I pull away, unable to look at her. The pain and betrayal are too fresh, too raw. I don't know if I can, Julia. I don't know if I can ever trust you again. The silence between us is deafening. Julia looks down, tears streaming down her face. I understand, she whispers. But please, just let me try. Before I can respond, my phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out, seeing a message from Kara. Need to talk. Urgent. I stand up, my mind racing. I have to go. We'll talk more later. Julia looks up, her eyes filled with despair. Please, don't leave. Not like this. I hesitate, but the need for answers drives me. I'll be back. We'll figure this out. I leave the apartment, the door closing behind me with a finality that echoes in my heart. I head back to the velvet room, my mind a whirlwind of emotions. When I arrive, Kara is waiting for me, her expression serious. What's going on? I ask, sitting down across from her. She slides a folder across the table. I did some digging. Harlequino's streams are more than just entertainment. There's something darker going on. I open the folder, my heart pounding. Inside are documents, screenshots, and chat logs that paint a disturbing picture. Harlequino isn't just a performer, she's being exploited by a network of powerful individuals. What is this? I ask, my voice shaking. Kara looks at me, her eyes filled with concern. Julia is in deep. These people, they're dangerous. If you confront her without a plan, it could end badly. I feel a surge of protectiveness. Despite everything, I don't want Julia to get hurt. What do we do? Kara leans in, her voice low. We need to expose them. But we have to be careful. If they find out we're onto them, they won't hesitate to silence us. I nod, the weight of the situation settling over me. Okay. What's the plan? Kara lays out a strategy, involving gathering more evidence and finding allies who can help us take down the network. It's risky, but it's the only way to free Julia and bring the truth to light. As we finalize the details, I can't help but feel a spark of hope. This might be the beginning of the end for Harlequino, but it's also a chance to rebuild my life, and maybe, just maybe, find a way back to Julia. The road ahead is uncertain and fraught with danger, but I'm determined to see it through. For the truth, for justice, and for the woman I once loved. Kara and I gather evidence against the network exploiting Julia. Every move feels like a step on a tightrope, balancing between exposing the truth and falling into danger. Julia and I barely speak, the air between us is thick with unresolved tension and unspoken words. One evening, Kara calls me. We're ready. Meet me at the warehouse on 5th. Tonight. I nod, my heart racing. I'll be there. I hang up, turning to Julia. She's sitting at the kitchen table, her face drawn and tired. I need to go out, I say, grabbing my coat. She looks up, her eyes filled with a mix of hope and fear. Where are you going? Just meeting someone. It's important. She nods slowly, her expression resigned. Be careful. I leave the apartment, the weight of the night pressing down on me. The warehouse on 5th is a dilapidated building, its windows boarded up and graffiti covering the walls. I spot Kara's car parked nearby and head inside, my footsteps echoing in the empty space. Kara is waiting near the back, surrounded by stacks of crates and old machinery. "You made it," she says, her voice tense. "Yeah. What's the plan?" She hands me a small device. "This is a hidden camera. We need to get footage of their operations, something undeniable. We're meeting a contact inside who can get us close." I nod, slipping the camera into my jacket. "Let's do this." We make our way through the dark corridors, the sound of distant voices guiding us. Kara leads us to a door, knocking twice in a specific pattern. The door creaks open, revealing a tall man with a scar across his face. "This is him?" he asks, eyeing me warily. "Yes," Kara replies. "He's with us." The man nods, stepping aside to let us in. We enter a dimly lit room, filled with monitors and surveillance equipment. Several people are gathered around, discussing something in hushed tones. "Our contact," Kara whispers, nodding towards a woman with short, dark hair. "She's been working undercover for months." The woman approaches us, her eyes sharp and calculating. "I'm Anna. We don't have much time. Follow me." She leads us through another set of doors, into a larger room where several men and women are gathered, watching a live stream on a large screen. Harlequino's masked face fills the display, her voice echoing through the space. "Tonight's performance is a special one," she says, her tone seductive yet strained. My heart clenches at the sight. Julia, my wife, performing for these people, unaware of the danger she's in. I glance at Kara, who nods subtly, signaling me to start recording. We move closer, trying to remain inconspicuous. Anna points to a control panel. That's where they manage the streams and handle payments. We need to get footage of that. I nod, positioning myself to get a clear shot. As I start recording, one of the men glances our way, suspicion flickering in his eyes. "Who are you?" he demands, stepping towards us. Kara reacts quickly, her voice calm but firm. "We're new hires. Just getting a feel for the place." He narrows his eyes but nods, seemingly satisfied for the moment. We continue recording, capturing every detail, every transaction. The atmosphere is tense, and my heart races with the fear of being discovered. Suddenly, a voice crackles over the intercom. "Security breach. All personnel to the main floor." Panic erupts in the room. The men and women scramble to shut down the equipment, but it's too late. Kara grabs my arm, pulling me towards the exit. "We need to get out. Now." We race through the corridors, the sound of footsteps echoing behind us. Anna leads us to a side door, pushing it open and gesturing us through. "This way." We burst into the night, the cool air a stark contrast to the tension inside. We don't stop running until we reach Kara's car, panting and out of breath. "That was close," she says, sliding into the driver's seat. "But we got what we needed." I nod, my mind still reeling from the adrenaline. "What now?" "We go to the police. This footage will bring them down." We drive to the nearest police station, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and hope. The officers listen to our story, watching the footage with grim expressions. When it's over, they nod, their resolve clear. "We'll handle this," one of them says. "Thank you for bringing it to our attention." As we leave the station, I feel a weight lifting off my shoulders. The network will be exposed, and Julia will be safe. But there's still one more thing I need to do. When I return home, Julia is waiting for me, her eyes wide with anxiety. "What happened? Where were you?" I take a deep breath, sitting down beside her. "I found out the truth, Julia. About Harlequino. About everything." Her face pales, tears welling in her eyes. "I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you." "I know," I say softly. But it's over now. The people exploiting you, they're going to be arrested. You're free. She looks at me, a mix of relief and guilt in her expression. Thank you. But what about us? I pause, the words catching in my throat. I don't know. You betrayed me, Julia. It's going to take time to rebuild the trust we lost. She nods, tears streaming down her face. I understand. I'll do whatever it takes. As we sit together in the quiet of our apartment, I realize that this is just the beginning. The road to healing will be long and difficult, but for the first time in a long while, I feel a glimmer of hope. The mask has been removed, the truth revealed, and now we can start to rebuild our lives. Epilogue of months pass, and the network is dismantled, its leaders arrested and brought to justice. Julia and I attend therapy, working through our issues and slowly rebuilding our trust. Harlequino's identity is never publicly revealed, and Julia leaves the streaming world behind, focusing on her career and our relationship. One evening, as we sit together on the couch, Julia turns to me, her eyes filled with gratitude. Thank you for giving us a second chance. I smile, taking her hand. We've been through a lot, but we're strong. We've been through together. And as we sit there, hand in hand, I know that no matter what the future holds, we'll face it together, unmasked and unafraid.